Hey, Austin. Hey, man. Good to see
Josh,
you.
it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
It has been a minute, man. Let's see. I think the last time we chatted was 6 years ago. Since then, you've done Broadway with Denzel. You've stolen scenes from Brad Pitt in a Tarantino movie, and now you're Elvis. So maybe it's good we took a break, is what I'm saying. Maybe you just needed to do your own thing.
That was good for me. Yeah, thank you for giving me some time.
First, I just want to talk about, look, it's a tough road for any actor to kind of find their own way, their own path. You've been doing this a while. You were, the Nickelodeon kid. You were the Disney kid. You were the MTV guy. And for every Ryan Gosling and Leonardo DiCaprio, a lot of actors have a tough road to make that transition into adult roles. Was that something that really weighed on your mind? Did you think you'd be able to navigate this road?
You never know as an actor. I mean, the people that I always looked up to, I looked up to Leo and Brad and Denzel, Tom. There's so many people that I've looked up to so much over the years. And I grew up with Turner Classic Movies in the house, so I was watching East of Eden and just being mesmerized by James Dean and On the Waterfront and just being blown away by what Marlon Brando was doing. So I always had this thing in my mind of the type of work that I wanted to be challenged by and to get to dig into. But so much the stars have to align in such a way that, there's so much involved. And I worked really hard, but I also feel very, very grateful and blessed that people have believed in me over the years. And I've been given certain opportunities that have led to me being in the position that I am now.
Do you think you're a different actor now? Do you think it is as much opportunity and the right role at the right time, or do you feel like it took you a second to grow into the kind of roles that you're now gravitating toward?
I'm still learning so much, and I'm still growing. And I know that I've had to learn a lot of things over the years, and I wasn't ready for certain things back then. When I was 12, when I was 15, because I looked at Leo and what he was doing in Gilbert Grape for Basketball Diaries, and so I felt like I was behind for many years.
That's a tough standard to hold yourself up to, for the record.
Yeah, I told him that the other day, and it's just this thing where you're not ready for certain things, and you have to go through certain life experiences, and you also have to have those moments where you're on set and you go home at the end of the night and you go, I did terrible work today. Why, what? And you kind of go back to the drawing board, and that's the beautiful thing about doing theater is you're only as good as you are that night. So every night you'll have a night where you go, oh, this is what it means to be an actor. And then the next night, you're like, I'm the worst actor in the world. Yeah. And, so it's so up and down that you have to keep going back to the drawing board.
When this one comes around, when you know you're in the mix for this, did you feel like you had a legitimate shot? I mean, I don't know how aware you were, but it was public knowledge, who you were up against. And you weren't a professional singer, and you're, Harry Styles is a very talented actor and singer. Did you feel like I got a legit shot at this, or they're going to go with someone with more experience in this realm?
I always look at other actors, if I know that somebody else is going out for the same thing. And usually I end up going, I could see them doing a great job. And I kind of doubt myself, and I think that they would do a better job sometimes, And there were times where I didn't think that I was gonna get it, because I thought, the studio's gotta sign off. They're probably not gonna sign off on me or this sort of thing. But I also knew that Elvis started out as a person that felt very far away, because he seems like he's been held up to a godlike status in many people's minds, or he's the Halloween costume. So either one of those aren't human. But the version where I'm looking up to him, it's like being a kid in your dad's suit, where the shoes feel way too big and the arms are hanging down. And so for me, it was personalizing him as much as possible. And there was things I've spoken a lot about. The first thing that hit me, which was he lost his mom at the exact same age as I was when I lost my mom. And when I learned that, it hit me so much, because that's the most grief I've ever felt. And I knew that was the most grief he's ever felt. And suddenly in that moment, I didn't feel alone in that, because I knew that at a particular time in your life, when you're just sort of transitioning from being a boy to a man, and you're kind of trying to figure yourself out, you lose your best friend and the person who has the most unconditional love. And so that really connected me to him. And then I knew there's got to be so many other keys out there that may seem like they're far away, but if I look at them, the more that I dug, the more that these things were I just get chills, because I couldn't believe how personal it eventually became. It was the most personal thing I've ever done.
And then there's the performance aspect, which is just, it's mind-boggling to see what you've achieved here. Because look, in my experience with you, you're a soft-spoken, maybe even an introverted guy at times, and you are playing the most extroverted, literally the ultimate performer of the last 100 years. Does something click? Do you go into a different gear when you're like in that when the cameras turn on, when you're on a stage, when Baz says action? You've just got to like go for broke. There must be a different key in your brain that turns on.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm just myself, you know, I do tend to be pretty introverted, and I will get uncomfortable in front of a camera or that sort of thing. But when you're able to be someone else, that's when I feel more free. And with this as well, I did feel massive amounts of fear because of the responsibility to him, to his family, to all the fans around the world who love him so much. What I could rest in was the fact that he had stage fright through his entire career. And he talks about it all through the 70s even. So Elvis Presley, who was one of the most magnetic, charismatic performers, is also feeling fear before he walks on stage. That really shifted everything for me, because I knew in those moments when I was feeling nearly crippling fear, that if I get out there and I feel the music and you end up channeling that and you build a rapport with an audience in the way that he did. So I just studied him so much that I learned how he made jokes with them, how he used his eyes to make a girl blush, or any of those little things. And when you start doing those things, it becomes an out-of-body experience where I'm not thinking at all. You're just living in that moment, and it's really it's so special.
Talk to me about, you know, we talked about sort of the residual effects of a part like this. And, you know, like you put yourself through the ringer for this, and I get it. Like if you're going to put yourself in the hands of Baz and something like Elvis, that's the way to do it. But like the emotional toll, did it like, like going forward, how do you protect yourself? Do you want to protect yourself? Or in a role like this, do you just kind of have to like open yourself up to everything? And if it's going to cause a little bit of pain, so be it. It's worth it for the role.
Yeah, like I say, it was more personal than anything I could ever imagine. So there are days where you have to go to certain places that I didn't want to. It feels like walking into a burning building or something, and it serves a story, and it honors his life. And in certain moments, I get to honor my own mother, you know, and it becomes a love letter to my own mom. So it definitely takes its toll at times. Being able to honor is a beautiful gift that I'm given in that process.
This performance reminds me of these certain performances I've seen over the years in these really special biopics about music performers. I think of, when I was growing up, I think of Val Kilmer transforming into Jim Morrison. Yeah. I think of J-Lo as Selena, you know, Rami in recent years. I mean, the interesting thing about these performances also is that for the generation that sees these films, you define that performer. Like for the generation now, you are going to be their entry point into Elvis Presley. Did you wrap your brain around that while you were making it? Is that something that hits you after?
You know, I guess those thoughts are kind of there, but it never really hit me until I was here in Memphis and I started getting to be around these people who are Elvis super fans. Like they know everything about his life. And the ones who've seen the film then, the way that they then treat me, I'm feeling so loved by them because I'm suddenly connected to this person that they love so much. But then I also think about all those people out there who don't really know who he is. It's so amazing to get to be a part of that. I can't even fathom that this is really my life right now. I just feel so grateful.
You lived and breathed this guy for a couple of years. I mean, you truly did. Does some of that still exist within you? I mean, do you hear like, is there Elvis in your voice now that you have trouble shaking? Has it seeped into just your day-to-day life?
It's a tricky question to answer because I have people say that, and then I sort of combat it sometimes like, in person because I just go, no, this is my voice. This is how
I'm just being me.
This is the most truthful voice I can speak.
Yeah.
But I do know that there's something to the habit of muscularity, you know, and that's if I'm moving my mouth in a certain way for 2 years, suddenly you get done and you have habits. So I could understand that. Also, just like I was saying earlier, I'm very introverted. So in moments where I've got to sort of go out in front of a lot of people, I think that I may click into certain things that he's taught me, you know, about how to deal with people in environments like that.
How about the dance moves? Have you inherited any of Elvis's dance moves? How does his repertoire mirror yours?
I was never a dancer. I would be the wallflower, you know, I wouldn't dance at a party at all. And people have iPhones out and they're filming, I still don't dance, but he taught me so much because he never had choreography. It was always about the music moving him. So I had many epiphanies while working on it, where I remember the first one where it hit me and I felt so basic, but I just said, I now understand what dancing is. Like at its most primal, when you feel a rhythm and you feel music and the music starts to move you, I now understood it because I always thought about it externally, like, oh, you've got this move and then you do that move and You know what I mean? So that's
maybe
yeah,
that's all I need to
changing.
do. I just need to play Elvis in a movie, and I'll suddenly get
Yeah,
some moves,
yeah.
'cause
You know, I'll make some calls and yeah.
Thanks. We've talked about sort of the arc of your career, and it's so exciting to see now what you're up to, even post Elvis. And I gotta say, man, you're working with Denis Villeneuve, you're working with Timothée Chalamet next. Did you go hard after that one? Did they come after you? Did you have to audition? You're going to be in Dune. Talk to me about that.
The first Dune, I absolutely loved it. Denis' films, I mean, I just adore him as a filmmaker. I feel like he's our generation's Stanley Kubrick. He's just so amazing, and on top of that, he's such a kind and thoughtful person. So the idea of getting to work with him is a dream come true.
One other thing, I know you can't say much, but is your look going to look anything like this?
No comment.
It's another tough act
I
to
like
follow,
that you printed
man.
that out.
I had it out already printed. I just keep these.
Did you?
On me
Those are
at
just
all
above
times.
your bedside.
Yeah, exactly. You should see my fade room. It's a really weird room, but it's